Hello viewers, here is an Envirofan extra heavy duty industrial ceiling fan, model 160F. And this says the blades should be 10 feet above the floor, which they are not, and I don't care. And the other tag says, I'll read it because I know this is not going to be, I don't think it's going to focus up close enough. It says AC ceiling fan, impedance protected, 120 volts, 60 hertz, 0.7 amps, 75 watts, model number 160F/C. Made in the China. Oh, great. So it is made in the China. For industrial and commercial use only. There's the Envirofan logo. This is a 56-inch fan, which I don't quite understand where the model number comes from, because the 136 model is 36 inches. Yet the 160 is not 60 inches, it's only 56 inches. It is a curved blade model. This is the down rod it came with. It's a bit low for the application here, but it's not bad. I would only raise it an inch or two higher. I'm using this wall control with it. I use this one because there's a light in here. That light, which it controls with the light switch and then the fan. And I don't like this control because it's confusing, because the light, the highest setting for the light is all the way up, yet for the fan the highest setting is number 1 and then number 4 is the slowest setting, which just doesn't make any sense, because I would think that the higher number should be a faster speed, and if the light's brightness is all the way up at the top, then the fan speed should be all the way up at the top as well, so that it's consistent. And I've read the reviews for this control before I purchased it, and there was a handful of individuals that made the same comment. And then you had these other individuals, these so-called technical individuals, that would come in and say, no, you're wrong, you're an idiot, it has to start at the highest speed, blah, blah, blah. And there is some electrical theory truth to that it should start off at the highest speed. But when you design a product, you can't just take into consideration the theories behind the design, the technical aspects of it. You need to take into consideration the fact that a human is interfacing with the device, and it needs to be logical, and this control is just not. Speed wise, it's okay. 1 and 2 is good. 3 should be faster because it's nowhere near 4, but it's pretty close to 2. And then of course 4 is full power. So I'm going to go ahead and start it off now on 4, which is the slowest speed. I'll set this camera over here and let's go. So it is in fact starting up by itself on speed 4. It's taken some time, but it will do it. It's pretty quiet. There's not much of a hum or anything at this using this control. While this gets up to speed, I'll tell the story of these fans. A number of years ago, probably close to 2 decades ago, I remember starting to see these in a local grocery store. I don't know when they were installed. It could have been long before I was at the store, I don't know. But My mother used to take me to the grocery store to buy food, and there was 6 of these in the grocery store. And over the years, they slowly started to disappear. The first one that got replaced was near where balloons was sold, because there was always balloons getting caught up in the fan, and that obviously made it fail. So that one was replaced a long time ago with one of those like Crompton Greaves things. I forget if it's Encon or Crompton Greaves or what it is, but it was one of those ones. And then the rest of them were there for several years after that. And then slowly over the years, one got replaced, another one got replaced. I happened to go to that store just a couple of weeks ago, coincidentally, right around the time that I purchased these, and there was only one left. All of the 5 had been replaced with, one of them was a decent replacement from quite a few years ago, but the rest of them were all just replaced with some thin, flimsy piece of junk, and there was only one left. Which is really sad, because I remember those fans very distinctly. I never liked going to the grocery store at the time, but being able to see the fans made it significantly better. And so I have very fond memories of those fans for many, many years. So it's quite disappointing to see them almost completely distinct at that store. In fact, in that same complex, there is another restaurant that had ceiling fans that I remember from the same time. And very recently, one of those got replaced, so there's only one of them left. I had been thinking for a long time I need to go take a photograph of that restaurant, and I just never did. And then it was too late. So shame on me for not taking the photograph. I started carrying a camera with me after that incident. So now I will be taking photographs of what I see when I see it, because everything is disappearing. The high pressure sodium lights are disappearing, all the fans are disappearing, a lot of stuff's getting renovated. It's just not much left. Anyways, this is just about up to speed. Oh, and what I forgot to mention about the ones at the store, I knew this was the model that they were, but I thought they were going to be a little bit different. This is the exact one that's at the store. The motor shape, the blade shape, the canopies, it is identical to the one in the store, which I'm kind of happy about, because that means I could buy more of them and recreate that install somewhere else. I didn't think that this would be exactly the same. I very distinctly recall the ones at the store having the pointed motor. And that's exactly what this is. It is the identical fan that was at the store. So it's been really neat to have this in here. After seeing those fans in the stores for so many years, now to have one here in the bedroom. So this is the low speed with that control. It's a very nice aesthetic speed. And in fact, it's not totally aesthetic. It is moving air, not enough to really create a breeze. But if you stand under it, you can feel that air is moving. And in fact, this speed is almost perfect, just enough to de-stratify the heat. If I could turn it up another 10 RPMs, I would. But as far as use in the winter goes, this is not bad. Not bad at all. And it looks good too. It's not totally silent. You can hear a little bit of motor noise. But it's much, much quieter than that Chatham was. Alright, let's go up to speed 2. Almost out of film, I only got 9 minutes left. Oh, well, it's speed 3. Goof. But this is the second slowest speed. And on this speed, you get a decent draft around the room. I would ideally like something between this speed and speed number 4 to use in the winter to push the heat down. But for what we've got here, speed number 4 does do it. I would just like a little bit more circulation. So that at this speed you can feel the air moving everywhere in the room. It's not a strong breeze, but you've got a consistent draft throughout. You can see the plants are moving now. It's still pretty quiet. You can hear a little bit of wind noise from the blades cutting through the air, but not much. Yeah, we see we got a good breeze here. Not bad. For how fast that's moving, it's pushing out a decent amount of air. Okay, now we'll go up to speed 2, they're gonna call it. Alright, that's about up to speed. It's getting faster now. This isn't even half the power that it has, though. And that's the problem with this speed, is that if I want to move the air around, this works, but it's not that loud yet. I could tolerate a fair bit more noise, so I would want it going faster. But I've got nothing in between this and full power, and it's a huge jump to full power. This is the speed I end up using it on when I want to move the air around for cooling, but I would like it to be faster on this speed. This is probably close to equivalent to the high speed of a cheaper fan. It's kind of hard to gauge because this moves air very differently than a conventional flat bladed fan does. This pushes the air around differently, and so underneath the fan you don't get quite that strong gust that you would get under a straight bladed fan, but the air is, you can certainly still feel it moving around. I think this is about the performance of the Chatham on high, close to it anyways. We got air moving pretty good now. And it's still fairly quiet. This is what I was saying about the noise. It could go up a fair bit faster before it would become too loud for my preference. I'm gonna move this because that'll blow away on high. I think this is about the speed they ran at the store. There was 2 rows of 3. The back row seemed to be running at or near high speed, and then the front row ran somewhere around a speed like this. They didn't hum, so I suspect that they were on 4-speed controls. Why they ran them at different speeds, I have no idea. Alright, now we're going to go into the uncharted territory of full power. And that has to, of course, interrupt the video. Okay, here we go. Full power. I don't know what that vibrating sound is. It's never been making that before. Well, if it wasn't for that stupid noise, there's probably something in a canopy, because the canopy situation is the upper canopy. It's kind of not up all the way because of how much cord is in there. I'm gonna have to try to fix that. I don't want that in the video. Let's see if we can find out why it's doing that. I suspect it's just something's not quite right in there. This is a bit loose. I should probably tighten that up. That's one of the problems with these metal blade fans, is that they radiate any vibration. So they're kind of noisy. Well, now we get to see straight to high from off. Huh. I wonder what that is. It sounds to me like something's loose. Something's just rattling on somewhere in the canopies. Go figure, it would do that as soon as I turn the camera on. It hasn't done that never before. It's made a couple of noises which I've been able to fix by moving the canopies around. Unbelievable. Well, whatever. It's just going to be like that in this video. So this is, you know, it's powerful, but it's not overwhelming. It's very noisy. That's one issue I have with it. It's very noisy, but it's not like outrageous. You know, I'm standing here 4 feet away from it, and I feel a draft on the floor, but it's not out of control. I've had other fans in here, residential grade fans, that seem to move about the same amount of air around the room. Now this may perform better in a larger space. I don't know. And they perform better with a longer down rod too. I have doubts about how much air is really getting over there on top of it, especially with the curved blades. It's relatively close to the ceiling for that kind of a blade design. It's powerful, no doubt about it. We can see stuff moving around the room everywhere. You know, the papers are flinging up. But I've had other fans in here that will keep that paper halfway up the wall, you know, and it's like it's barely doing it. I've had other fans that will consistently keep it like this. So I don't know. It's underwhelming. Yeah, that's moving pretty good. The plants are moving. This is moving. The air is moving, and it's moving fast, but it's not like insane. It's strong, but it's not outrageous. I think the Dayton one moves a lot more air, but the build quality of this is far superior because this has the cast motor, and the motor runs very cool. I could see this lasting a very, very long time. I've had it running like this before, and the motor, the temperature rise is minimal. On the lower speeds, 1 or 4, 3, and 2, the motor hardly gets above ambient. It's really incredible. I think people don't quite appreciate the importance of the cast motor, because these motors being enclosed like this, you have a heat issue, and the cast design will draw the heat away from the windings and out into the environment much better than a stamped motor would, even with vents. And if you look back in fan history, some of the best fans ever to exist were all cast motors. You had the Hunter original cast motor. Some of the most powerful spinners from the 70s and the 80s, cast motors. High-end Emperors from the 70s and the 80s, cast motors. They're extremely powerful and they're extremely reliable because of the low operating temperatures. Now I can hear a lot of air resistance at the ends of the blades, and that's why I tend to think it's too close to the ceiling, because the angled tips are probably fighting with the air as it tries to go on top of the fan. I don't know what that sound is. It's really bothered me that that's in this video, because it doesn't usually make that sound. The other thing I like about this one over the Dayton is that it doesn't make a really unpleasant sound. It's loud, but it's not unpleasant. The Dayton makes that annoying high frequency whir, which is pretty much, as far as I'm concerned, unusable in any kind of residential environment. I wouldn't put that fan anywhere besides a garage, because I couldn't deal with that noise. That'd be too annoying. This I could tolerate. If it was really hot, I could deal with this. It's getting a little cloudy. I hope the sun stays out enough for me to finish this video. to figure out what that noise is. Alright, I'll put this back up here and we'll do a spin down, because I guess some people like to watch that. I'm not one of them, but someone's going to ask for it. I'm not sure how much longer this is going to stay in here. There's nice things about it. There's practicalities and then there's impracticalities. What's nice is I set it up on speed number 4, which is the slowest setting, and it just runs day in and day out, and I don't even think about it. And it keeps the air moving around in here, keeps the heat pushed down from the ceiling, and it makes a big difference. Like today, especially today when it's sunny out and the heat's coming in through the windows, I'll come in here and it's going to be upper 70 degrees with the fan going on slow, and then in the other room it'll only be in the high 60s. So it really does move the air enough on low to significantly destratify the heat on this height of a ceiling. So that's nice, but it's not super practical on the higher speeds, because I do use the fan on the higher speeds in the evening. After I take a shower and I'm sitting in here using a computer, I'll put the fan up to dry my hair before I go to sleep. And this one, it doesn't move quite enough air on setting 2, which is the second highest, to do that. And setting 1 is too much. It's too noisy to use at night. So it's good for the heat, but it's not good for the other purpose that I use it for. And as cool as it looks, I prefer a brass and a brown fan in the bedroom. I like warm colors in the bedroom. This bedroom is otherwise pretty ugly, so I kind of like having the brass fan in here. This looks nice too, but it's not like bedroom aesthetics. I would picture this more in a kitchen. Okay, and it has come to a stop. So that will be it for this Envirofan 160F heavy duty, extra heavy duty industrial ceiling fan.